Step into the bustling world of medieval castle kitchens, where hundreds of hungry mouths were fed daily. From massive cauldrons to clever preservation methods, discover how these remarkable spaces operated and the fascinating secrets behind feeding an entire castle community. The kitchen layout in medieval castles was a masterpiece of organization. Picture a large, open space with multiple fireplaces lining the walls. Some castles had up to 5 separate hearths. The center of the room featured long wooden preparation tables where kitchen staff would chop, mix, and prepare ingredients. Ventilation was crucial, so these kitchens often had high ceilings with smoke holes or chimneys. Storage areas were strategically placed, with separate spaces for dry goods, fresh ingredients, and valuable spices. The kitchen's location was typically away from the main hall to prevent fires from spreading, connected by a covered passageway that servers used to transport hot dishes quickly to the dining area. This efficient layout allowed kitchen staff to prepare multiple dishes simultaneously, feeding hundreds of castle residents and guests each day. Let's explore the fascinating tools that made medieval castle kitchens work. The most impressive was the massive cauldron. Some could hold up to 100 gallons of soup or stew. These huge pots hung from adjustable chains called pot hooks, allowing cooks to control the cooking temperature. Rotating spits were another clever invention, turned either by small dogs running in wheel mechanisms or by young kitchen helpers called spit boys. The kitchen also housed an array of specialized tools: copper pots for precise cooking, strainers made from horsehair, wooden spoons of various sizes, and sharp knives for different purposes. Measuring wasn't exact. Cooks used their hands and simple scales rather than precise cups or spoons. These tools, while basic by today's standards, were remarkably effective at producing meals for hundreds of people. Let's meet the team that kept these massive kitchens running smoothly. At the top was the master cook, who managed everything from menu planning to overseeing food quality. Below them were specialized cooks: the sauce chef, the roast master, and the pastry expert. The kitchen clerks kept detailed records of supplies and costs, while apprentice cooks learned the trade. At the bottom of the hierarchy were the kitchen boys and scullery maids, who handled the endless tasks of cleaning, carrying water, and maintaining fires. It was hot, demanding work, but this well-organized team managed to serve hundreds of meals daily. The kitchen staff could easily number 30 people in larger castles, each with their specific role in this complex culinary operation. Now let's uncover how medieval castles kept food fresh without modern refrigeration. It's more clever than you might think. The most common method was salting, where meat and fish were packed in salt to draw out moisture and prevent spoilage. Smoking was another popular technique, with special smoking rooms where meat and fish would hang for days above smoldering fires. Castle kitchens also had cool, dark cellars for storing root vegetables and barrels of preserved foods. Herbs weren't just for flavor, they were natural preservatives too. Honey was used as a preservative for fruits, while pickling in vinegar helped keep vegetables edible for months. Even the castle's architecture played a role, with thick stone walls helping to maintain cool temperatures year-round. Let's walk through a typical day in a medieval castle kitchen. The day started before dawn, with kitchen boys and scullery maids lighting fires and hauling fresh water. By sunrise, bakers had their bread dough rising, while other cooks began preparing the day's first meal. Midday brought the main rush, with multiple dishes being prepared simultaneously, from roasted meats to pottages simmering in those giant cauldrons. The afternoon wasn't just about dinner prep, it also involved planning future meals, checking food stores, and preserving incoming ingredients. As evening approached, the kitchen reached its peak activity, preparing elaborate suppers for the Lord's table while also feeding the entire castle household. Even after the last meal, work continued with cleaning, banking fires, and preparing for the next day. When it came to grand feasts, medieval castle kitchens transformed into incredible centers of culinary activity. Preparations would begin weeks in advance, with the master cook planning elaborate multi-course menus featuring exotic ingredients and spectacular presentation. The kitchen staff would double or triple in size, bringing in extra cooks and servers from nearby towns. Special dishes were created to impress guests, like roasted peacocks redressed in their own feathers or subtleties, elaborate sugar sculptures that told stories between courses. The logistics were mind-boggling. Hundreds of plates to coordinate, dozens of different dishes to time perfectly, and countless servers to orchestrate. These feasts weren't just meals, they were demonstrations of the castle's wealth and power. Fire management was absolutely crucial in medieval castle kitchens. It was literally the heart that kept everything running. Each hearth required careful attention from dedicated kitchen staff who monitored temperatures by observing flame colors and testing heat with their hands. They used different woods for various purposes: oak for long-lasting heat, fruit wood for flavor in roasting, and quick-burning twigs for fast boiling. The fires needed constant maintenance, with staff adding fuel, adjusting airflow, and clearing ashes throughout the day. Kitchen workers became experts at controlling heat levels by raising or lowering pots on chains and moving food closer to or further from the flames. Now, let's dive into the most popular dishes that came out of these bustling medieval kitchens. The staple was pottage, a thick soup made from whatever vegetables and grains were available, simmering all day in those massive cauldrons. For noble tables, roasted meats were essential. Venison, beef and poultry were often prepared with exotic spices like cinnamon and nutmeg to show wealth. Meat pies were another favorite, combining minced meat with dried fruits and heavy spices in a thick pastry crust. The cooking techniques were fascinating too. Meats were often twice cooked, first boiled then roasted, to ensure they were both tender and flavorful. Sauces were incredibly important, with cooks creating complex flavor combinations using wine, vinegar, and aromatic herbs. Keeping a medieval castle kitchen clean was a massive undertaking that required careful planning and constant work. The kitchen staff developed smart systems to handle food waste. Leftover scraps were often given to the poor or fed to castle animals. Wastewater from cooking and cleaning was channeled through cleverly designed drainage systems that led away from the castle. The cleaning itself was a daily ritual. Floors were scrubbed with sand and vinegar, work surfaces were scraped clean with metal tools, and pots were scoured with ash paste. The kitchen staff also used herbs like lavender and rosemary not just for cooking, but to help control odors and keep pests away. Despite the challenges, maintaining cleanliness was crucial to prevent illness and keep the kitchen running smoothly. Let's clear up some popular myths about medieval castle kitchens. First, medieval food wasn't all bland and boring. Cooks used a variety of spices and herbs to create complex flavors. Another misconception is that medieval people only ate meat. In reality, their diet included lots of vegetables, grains, and fruits. Many think medieval cooks were unsanitary, but they actually had strict cleaning routines and food safety practices. People often believe that all medieval food was heavily spiced to hide spoilage, but spices were mainly used to show wealth and create interesting tastes. The idea that medieval kitchens were primitive is wrong too. They had sophisticated tools and techniques that we still use today. Thanks for exploring medieval castle kitchens with us. If you enjoyed uncovering these fascinating culinary secrets, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel. Share with history lovers and food enthusiasts who'd love this medieval kitchen tour.